Now, Pat Robertson is convinced that Donald Trump won the debate last night, and he's convinced that he was a, quote, he was rising like a phoenix from the ashes. Now, the ashes that he was talking about was actually the revelations that Donald Trump is cool with sexual assault. Now, I want to show you a clip of Pat Robertson on the 700 Club talking about this. Let's take a look.
Well, interesting, ladies and gentlemen, what happened, but nevertheless, Trump was the winner. Basically, the pundits were writing him off. I mean, let's face it, a guy does something 11 years ago. There's a conversation in Hollywood where he's trying to look like he's macho. And 11 years after that, they surface it from the Washington Post or whatever, bring it out within 30 days or so of the election, and this is supposed to be the death blow, and everybody writes him off. Okay, he's dead now. You better get out of the way and let Mike Pence run the campaign. And the Donald says no, but as I say, he's like the phoenix. They think he's dead. He's come back, and he came back strong. So he won that debate. The next one, we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, he speaks to adoring thousands wherever he goes.
Yeah, he won the debate. He was like a phoenix from the ashes.
That's not that big of a compliment. Adoring thousands?
Adoring
He's
thousands.
Running for president. Yeah, I mean, I would hope he could get... I mean, there's some comedians that you've never heard of, Jeff, that speak to adoring thousands wherever they go. They can draw that much. You know what I mean?
Be fair, he did kind of say that it was cool to sexually assault half of the American public.
I know it was weird that I picked out that thing to nitpick. I agree. that was a weird thing for me to be like, well, that wasn't even
strange. That was a little strange.
I guess I expect the rest from Pat Robertson, but I didn't know that he also had a bizarre concept of numbers and what it means to have an audience. I mean, that's one thing you can't take away from the guy. The guy has a pretty big audience. It's dwindling at this point, thank goodness. But
well, that's mainly because they happen to be dying off, and I know.
Right.
And I know it's rude when we bring that up, but literally his audience is ancient. That's what happens. Like, you eventually get old, watch Pat Robertson, and then die. Maybe those two things are related. I don't know. I'm going to start my own conspiracy theory about Pat Robertson viewers.
Hey, I mean, there's no way it's good for your health. I mean, look at him. Although he is pretty old and still going, but
yeah, well, he's like the crypt
I mean, that can't be good for your heart. He's just so angry. Yeah. I mean, same with Fox News. I mean, the average Fox News viewer is 72 years old,
and the average O'Reilly viewer is 69. So that's weird.
Yeah, and I mean, it can't be good for just all that anger and hate mongering. And
yeah, well, speaking of anger, I'm gonna get kind of mad about what the substance of what he actually said, if there is any. Defending Donald Trump. Saying, hey, we grab him by the pussy, right? I'm gonna grab her by the pussy. I came onto her like a bitch. Oh, I moved on her like a bitch. Sorry. That's what he said. This is not locker room talk. This is not macho talk. If you think this way, if you say this stuff, you're an asshole. Plain and simple. I mean, I cannot lay it out more simply than that. We're talking about sexual assault. And basically what this is that Donald Trump saying, hey, women are my property. I can do whatever the fuck I want to them. Married, not married, do they want it, do they don't want it? Doesn't matter. Who cares?
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want. That is the Donald Trump worldview. And look, it makes me think about Republicans always going after, oh, you guys are so entitled. And, you're entitled to everything. You're entitled to food and shelter. Well, Donald Trump's over here thinking that he's entitled to everybody's woman. Mm-hmm. That he's entitled to grab people by their crotch. This is entitled. And this is the same guy who got $1 million from his daddy at first to start a small business. He lost it because he's a loser.
At least
then he had to go back.
We don't know how much it actually was.
Yeah. So then he had to go back and have daddy bail him out some more. And then when he died, his daddy died, he got all that money, the Trump brand, and he would have done better if he had put it into an index fund and not fucking touched it. Instead, you had Trump steaks, Trump vodka, Trump airlines, Trump whatever. I mean, the trail
Trump
of
University,
failed
the fine
businesses.
institution that was.
That was.
Don't you want to learn how to make money from somebody who's declared bankruptcies multiple times after getting a huge handout? Isn't that who you want teaching you how to make money?
No, see, Donald Trump's biggest lesson on how to make money is, why don't you just inherit it?
Yeah. Most financially successful thing he's ever done. Be born. That's
yes.
it. We all managed that one.
Lucky sperm club, essentially.
Yeah, there you go.
But look,
now we're on to something.
This proves that Donald Trump's nothing more than an entitled little bitch. He thinks he's entitled to the women. He thinks he's entitled to all this money. He thinks he's entitled to all this fame. He thinks the world owes him. And that is incredible, like, projection that the Republican Party, who always bitches about people saying that, oh, the world owes me and I'm such a victim and, you know, I deserve all of these things, nominated this asshole who literally thinks that he deserves everything. He deserves to grab people to do sexual assault because he's famous. Jesus. This is rape culture, right? This is a good example of this. And, you know, the other part of rape culture is you had, like, Billy Bush over there, right? Laughing at this. Mm-hmm. While Trump admitted to doing a sexual assault. He didn't go out and say, whoa, hey, dude, that's not cool. You probably shouldn't do that. No, he's like, oh, that's great, Donald. Yes, you're the man. Here's my banana. Yeah. That's essentially what this whole thing is. And then, you know, the continuation of this, going back to Pat Robertson, is him saying, you know, this is just macho talk. This is just him trying to be
it was 11
man.
years ago, in the Christian spirit, Pat Robertson forgave him.
Except that they won't forgive Bill Clinton.
Right. That's right. Well, here's what's interesting, too. I would think, the other thing that struck me about this, I would think Pat Robertson would want Mike Pence. I mean, I think this also speaks to Pat Robertson just really isn't paying attention. I mean, Mike Pence is super uber religious right. I mean, this guy was too conservative for Indiana.
Yep.
I mean, this is a right-wing, staunch, religious right dude, totally aligned in the fringes. And I think that's part of the reason Donald Trump picked him, because Donald Trump, you know, really doesn't have that basis much. He's not as much of a religious zealot, at least not what he says and does.
And yet
I would think
backing
Pat
him,
Robertson
too.
would want Mike Pence to swoop in.
Yeah, and well, here's the other thing, too. There's a lot of prominent religious leaders that we've seen, in addition to Pat Robertson, on the right that are going, oh, you know what, this is okay. Yeah, this is fine. And there's a lot of different ways that you could talk about this, a lot of different angles. And I think most of the ones that I would take would probably piss off any of the Christians listening. And that's unfortunate. But, like, you got to call it the way it is.
Well, not all Christians are Pat Robertson.
No, of course not. And that's why,
that's
why, like, I don't want to go there. But at the same time, you got to go there. In the Bible, it says women should be submissive and should shut up and basically allow their husbands to run dominion over them. Now, I know most Christians don't believe that, don't do that anymore because it's outdated and archaic. But Donald Trump was one of those people, and Pat Robertson was one of those people that are still championing that worldview of submission and I dare say toxic masculinity. I mean, the whole thing, like, you got to go up and do this macho talk to be a man, to be a real man, because a real man just takes what he wants and does whatever he wants to anybody that he wants to. That's not what a man does. And they don't understand this. I don't know. I'm just like, how anybody who's a good Christian can stand behind Donald Trump after he says this and admitted to sexual. It's not just about what he says. And there's this meme. Oh, you know, like, we're mad at Clinton for what she does. Yeah, of course. I'm mad at Clinton for what she does. I don't support her at all. But at the same time, they're saying, well, but don't get mad at Donald Trump for what he says. But what he says influences people. And also what he said, he admitted to doing, and that was sexual assault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And this is the type of... I mean, if you take the Bible 100% literally, I mean, I feel like you automatically dismiss yourself. Like I feel like Bible literalists, like you're just writing yourself off right away. because there's no, I mean, other than some bogus pseudoscience, there's just no compelling evidence that that's the way that book is supposed to be read. There's no, I mean, it was written by a bunch of different people over tons and tons of years. A lot of it does not add up, you know, and it's just not meant to be taken literally in so many ways.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, if he's going to use that as a case, the Bible literalist, he already has that group, because that group is so extreme and so fringe that they would never vote for a Democrat no matter what. They would never ever do that. And they're not even rational enough to understand that Mike Pence is more of their guy anyway. I mean, the fact that Pat Robertson can't even see that he can't even see, like, well, this guy's actually in line with my archaic views openly, whereas Donald Trump is not, and has done all these things that if it was someone on the other side doing it, I would be condemning them. You know, I mean, that just shows, like, I mean, critical thinking is just out the window for folks that are that extreme.
And I couldn't agree more. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.